Rambo Roman III continues the AI story, telling of John Rambo, now living in Thailand, far removed from his violent past. He spends his days in peaceful isolation, repairing a monastery and competing in stick-fighting matches for money. Although he has distanced himself from the world of combat, his past is not easily forgotten. The film begins when Rambo's former commanding officer and mentor, Colonel Samuel Trautman, visits him with a new mission. Trautman tells Rambo that the Soviet Union is occupying Afghanistan and the U.S. government wants to provide covert aid to the Afghan rebels, the Mujahideen, who are fighting against the Soviet forces. Trautman asks Rambo to join him in this mission, but Rambo refuses, wanting to stay out of the conflict. Trautman goes on the mission without Rambo, but is soon captured by the Soviet forces, led by the brutal Colonel Zaysen. When Rambo learns of Trautman's capture, he feels a deep sense of loyalty and responsibility. Despite his initial refusal, he decides to take action. Rambo sets off for Afghanistan to rescue his old friend, venturing into a war zone where the Soviets are heavily fortified. In Afghanistan, Rambo is introduced to the Mujahideen fighters, who are resistant to Soviet occupation. Rambo earns their trust and forms an alliance with them. Together they launch an infiltration mission into the Soviet stronghold where Trautman is being held. Rambo's mission is not easy. He must face overwhelming odds, as the Soviets are equipped with tanks, helicopters, and a massive military presence. Using his guerrilla tactics and survival skills, Rambo infiltrates the base, taking down soldiers one by one in a series of intense battles. He fights with his signature weapons, explosive-tipped arrows, knives, and heavy machine guns, leaving destruction in his wake. Rambo finds Trautman in a heavily guarded Soviet prison, tortured but alive. With Trautman freed, they must fight their way out of the Soviet compound. The two men, both highly skilled in combat, work together to outsmart the Soviet forces, using the terrain to their advantage. In the film's climactic battle, Rambo and Trautman take on the full might of the Soviet military. They face off against tanks and helicopter gunships, with Rambo displaying his unmatched combat skills. In one memorable scene, Rambo hijacks a Soviet tank and charges directly at a gunship in a head-to-head battle, symbolizing his fearless determination. The film ends with Rambo and Trautman surviving the battle and escaping to safety. The Afghan fighters cheer for their victory, and Rambo is left to reflect on the mission. Though he saved Trautman and helped the rebels, he once again walks away from the conflict, returning to his life of isolation. Rambo remains a soldier without a war, forever haunted by his past but driven by his sense of loyalty and honor. Rambo Roman III is a high-octane action film that explores themes of loyalty, friendship, and the moral complexities of war. Rambo's journey to rescue Trautman reflects his internal struggle between his violent past and his desire for peace, but his unwavering loyalty to his friends ultimately pulls him back into the world of combat.